All righty. Oh, that echo is a little weird. All right, what's going on, y'all? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is going to be, for those of you watching on stage, I apologize. I move a lot, so I cannot sit still whatsoever. So excited for y'all to be here. I'm going to go ahead and share. Hold on. How do I need to share that online. I can share screen. Here, I can do an entire.
Actually, you can share any tab.
No, I need.
Do you want to share the entire screen?
Yeah, I need to share the entire screen.
Yeah, you can share the entire screen. Just click on it.
All right.
Okay, now let me.
All right. What does that look like? That echo is wild.
Oh, perfect.
Are we good? We're good. All right. Now we start. What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. First off, I want to thank Danny and the team for this. Give it up for Danny. I mean, where's Danny? He's just in here. I want to give him his flowers. Danny, is he here? I don't see him. All right. So, Danny, thank you so much for inviting me and throwing this conference. I want to raise a hands here. Let's be honest. This is a vulnerable space for the next 2 hours. Who in here is like, Taylor, I'm a little tired right now? Oh, let's fucking go. All right, sweet. So my goal is for the next 2 hours is for you to not be tired. And it's going to be really difficult. But my goal is we're going to have some breaks. Anybody else a little hot in here? Is it a little hot? Yeah. So we're tired and we're hot. So that's a recipe for disaster. So we're going to, I don't know, maybe we all go outside for a second and take a breather and come back in. But for those of you who do not know who I am, my name is Taylor Desseyn, and I'm at the head of community at torque.dev. Torque.dev was just recently purchased by Ronstadt. Anybody in here know who Ronstadt is? They're a gajillion dollar staffing company. And so I was brought on to head up community for engineers across the globe. And so I'm blessed to be here. I'm blessed to be at this event. I messaged Danny when all this went down, when I saw his post. And I was like, Danny, listen, man, I would love to be involved in any way I can. Because the way Danny posted it, Danny was like, it's a tech conference. And I was like, well, I don't code. I don't code. Literally, my problem solving skills are shit. And so you do not need me in front of a computer coding. And so I just messaged him. I said, Danny, listen, I would love to be a part of this conference in any way I can. And he goes, why don't you just come out and give a 2-hour workshop? And I was like, what? Sounds good. So again, last night was pretty surreal to me. And I never take these never take any conferences for granted. I have been a traditional recruiter for 11 years. Now, for those developers in here, oh shit, there's a recruiter that's speaking. I'm not going to sell you anything. I'm not going to try, I'm not going to, try to explain the difference between Java and JavaScript because I still don't know. I'm just kidding. I kind of do. And so what my goal is really for this talk is I want you all to be rock solid with your job search by the end of this talk. This is a very in-depth talk. I've only given this talk one other time, and I just came up with my outline this morning. So it is going to be a hell of a next 2 hours. I also curse a fuck ton. So if that bothers you, I get it. I grew up in a Southern Baptist household. And so if you do not like cursing, you are more than welcome to leave. I totally get it. But for me, I get really, really, really excited. I get really excited when I speak. So if you do need to leave, it will not hurt my feelings, I promise. So I wanted to give, so this QR code right here is to join Torque's platform. Now, we're not going to spam you. We're actually still trying to set up all of our community efforts in terms of email campaigns and all this jazz. But I want you a part of the platform. So Torque, we are a jobs platform, but we are turning it into a career platform. You're like, Taylor, what the heck does that mean? That basically means is I want for us in my community, and Jason's up here. He's our US lead for community. We want Torque to be like your home, right? Our unofficial slogan is welcome home. I think one of the most terrifying things of the job search is that you feel alone, right? How many individuals in here have gone through the job search within the last year? Raise their hands. Yeah, everybody look around, look around. Oh, keep your hands up, keep your hands up. This is fucking nuts, right? So again, what I want is I want Torque, I want Jason, myself, Brianna Holmes, who's not here. We just hired 2 amazing women out of Mexico and Brazil. We want to be your home base, whether you need a job or not. We are going to develop technical content. We're going to develop job search content. And we are going to be your home base, whether you can check in, you can build connections with individuals. But I think one of the most important things that I want for this community at Torque is to be your home base and connect with others. But before I dive in, I do this with every single talk. Everybody pull out your phones. And again, this is 2 hours. Like, there's gonna be some crowd involvement here, okay? Where there's a lot of Q&A. Like, we're gonna get up and like tell our stories. It's gonna be a great time. But I want you to open up your phones. Open up LinkedIn. If you don't have LinkedIn on your phone right now, what are you doing? And I want you to connect with the person to the left or right of you for 30 seconds. Real fast. Go. Also, there's a QR code. If anybody know about the QR code? Use the QR code. It's in the search bar. Use the QR code. It helps. We are learning. You're going to learn today. That's great. There you go. Love that. Love that. All right. I just realized I only have like an hour and 15 minutes now, so I'm just kidding. All right, let's wrap it up. Wrap it up. Wrap it up. All right. So a little bit more about me, and again, I want to talk about. So, does anybody go to Aaron Francis's talk today? Incredible. Like, literally probably one of the best talks I've heard in a very, very long time. There is going to be elements of what Aaron spoke about in my talk as well, because I could not be where I'm at today if I did not post shit to the internet and build community at the same time. I started, like I said, in 2011 as a recruiter. Now, to put things in perspective, I've been recruiting since like jQuery was hot and .NET Web Forms was hot. Like, literally, I've seen the internet change over the last 14 years, right? I've recruited through when React was hot. You could spell React and get a huge raise, right? And so I've followed the engineering community for the last really 11 years, and I started to get interested when COVID hit about scaling myself and helping developers at scale, right? Like Aaron talked about in his talk today, I started to get into about posting things, right? I got my first invite to a code camp to speak at Raleigh Code Camp. And I was like, oh shit, I made it. And again, I'm stealing Aaron's talk here because it was so good. Like, there's been pivotal moments throughout my career and I thought I've made it, right? And I got out of recruiting. You don't understand. Typically when you are in recruiting, it's hard to get out of recruiting, right? Like, it's hard to career transition out. And so I'm so blessed to be here as really kind of get into the community growth side of things. Especially in the software engineering space. So again, what this talk is, it's going to be a combination of all 3 talks I have. We're going to talk about, we're about to dive into social media, how to find a job through social media. We're talking Blue Sky. First time I've talked about Blue Sky in a long time. Who here is on Blue Sky? Raise your hand. Yeah, a lot of us. Great, this is great. If 2 of y'all raise your hand, be like, well, this is going to take a little bit of time. And then we're going to talk about LinkedIn. Who in here actually like uses LinkedIn like on a daily basis? All right, great, awesome, fantastic. Yeah, so we're going to talk about how to use social media to find a job, right? We're going to dive into that. The next part of my talk is the power of community. We are not meant to go through this life alone, y'all. We're not. And I think COVID fucked that up for a lot of us, right? And so what the behaviors, what has happened because of COVID is we've become more comfortable watching Netflix than going to a meetup. right? We've become more comfortable staying at home in our PJs. Fun fact, these are PJs right now. These are PJs. we have been more comfortable staying at home in our PJs than putting on our damn clothes and going out and breaking bread with somebody in our community, right? And so what my community talk that we're going to talk about today is I want you to get out of your shell, network with people, build community, and elevate your career. And then what we'll finish off with, which usually is an hour and a half talk in and of itself, is how to ace the interview process, right? Now, here's the deal. There's a lot of great minds at this conference, right? Leon back there. I am very nervous that he's in my talk right now because I respect that guy like a shit ton. And the fact that he's in my talk terrifies me. But like he gets it, right? Like, and here's the deal. Leon will probably have different takes than me. But that's okay. That's why you build community. That's why you have different voices, right? And also Jordan. Jordan's a recruiter at Ronstadt right here. Come and support me. Jordan, I appreciate you. She's brilliant. She's probably going to have different takes than me. I actually texted her last night. I said, great, someone's going to call me on my shit if I say something wrong, right? But again, talk to her. There's a lot of hiring managers I know in here that probably are going to come at it from a different perspective than me. But again, take advantage of those individuals. So that's what we're going to dive into today. So does that sound good? Does that sound good? Good. If it doesn't, you can leave. It's fine. Also, I do know there are other talks going on. I want to be respectful to all those individuals that are speaking. If you have a talk that you like really want to go to, like, Taylor, I don't want to. It's fine. It's fine. Like I said, the fact that anybody showed up to this, I'm incredibly grateful. But if you want to go speak or go see somebody else speak, fine by me. I promise. I'll just cry later. All right. So social media. Let's go ahead. Did everybody QR code that? QR code. Just sign up. Listen. If you get an email from us, it's literally from me and Brianna Holmes. Anybody heard of Render ATL? Yeah. Brianna Holmes is responsible for all the marketing at Render ATL. When I had the opportunity to hire somebody in the U.S., guess who I hired? Brianna Holmes. So if you get an email from us, it's going to be from me or Brianna. So feel free to join. We'd love to have you, and we'll go from there. This echo is just awful. All right. So, all right. I'm going to be honest with you. I've never used slides before, and I got speaker feedback at Momentum Conference in Cincinnati that I needed slides. I'm already not using the slides properly. So use social media. All right, let's go. All right, so kind of coming to this, I was actually thinking about just creating slides on the go. So people's behaviors have vastly changed when it comes to networking. Everything can be done online. Y'all can read that shit. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn, I'm so, all right, I think LinkedIn, I don't know how y'all code live. This is terrifying, even just using this. All right, so I think LinkedIn is still one of the most slept on platforms out there. You have to understand something. LinkedIn is the only platform that you can get on today, search the company you've ever wanted to work for, and message a hiring manager and potentially strike up a conversation right now. What's one dream company that somebody wants to work at outside of FANG? Yes. Cummins? Great. Did I spell that right? That's not. Is that it? That's not it. Is that it? All right. Right here? All right. Sweet. So, and literally, this is part of it. I'm jumping ahead, but this kind of worked out. Again, that's why I can't use slides because I have ADD. So Cummins Inc., right? What was your name again? Kelvin. Kelvin, you already introduced me with your name. I'm bad with names, even though I've been a recruiter for a long time. So welcome to being married to me. My wife says all the time. All right, so we're going to talk about how to approach networking with somebody at Cummins. Like, literally, you can go on LinkedIn right now. I'm going to basically show you how to do it, so you need to do it this afternoon. I'm going to hold you to it, okay? All right, so what we do is let's go to jobs first. Let's just see what they have, right? All right, let's just say you want to be a BI analyst. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying let's just say hypothetically, right? First off, you see this? There's 28 people that went to the University of South Carolina, which is where I went to college. Go Gamecocks. Yeah? All right, cool. 28 people. All these people right here have gone to University of South Carolina or are associated with University of South Carolina anyway. I will tell you this, 100 devs back there, right? Yeah, clap it up. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. Give everybody their flowers in this talk for sure. You have to understand something. People, I don't know how to describe this properly. Leon, maybe you can give me some context, give me some thoughts on this. Like, I really feel like people bond if you go through an experience together. 100 devs is an experience, right? People bought Shashi, Gridiron Survivor, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Shashi. Is Shashi in here? I'm going to call him out later. All right, Shashi created Gridiron Survivor. I know Ryan's. Who else is in Gridiron? Is anybody else? Yep, Dominic. Yeah. Richard. Yeah. There you go. Experience, right? How University of South Carolina. That was an experience, right? College, right? If you message me from the University of South Carolina, I will 10 out of 10 times answer you. Let me ask you this. If somebody was involved in 100 devs and somebody from 100 devs messages you, are you going to respond to them? Yeah. Why? Yeah, it's a shared experience, right? Always, what I tell people is I would go to a boot camp or even college, but still a boot camp because of the shared experience, because of the community aspect, right? One of the most difficult, are we figuring out that echo? Yeah, okay, cool. Is the experience. So what I would do here, right, is I would literally message every single person here. Now, one of the questions I get all the time, Taylor, LinkedIn Premium, yes or no? I say yes. If you're going to use it. What's going on, dude? Welcome. Come on. A fun time. Yeah. Because I think in my perspective, if you are actively looking for a job, give up a few fucking cold brews and use LinkedIn Premium. And this is coming from a guy who loves his cold brew, right? It is incredibly important. But if you don't want to use if you don't want to use LinkedIn Premium or the cold brew, obviously I don't need any more. So first thing I would do, Sean, here's what I would do, right? So let's just check University of South Carolina. Yep, he got his BS in chemical engineering. This dude's way smarter than I am. So what I would do is I would do connect, right? Does everybody know this? Am I going too fast? Like, here's the deal. I want y'all to basically not be afraid to go through the job search after this talk. So if I am talking too fast and you don't understand what I'm saying, please interrupt me. My entire family doesn't. I'm in counseling for it. All right, so add a note. Does everybody know about this? Okay. LinkedIn, is anybody here from LinkedIn by chance? No? Okay. Here's the deal, LinkedIn. The marketing branding aspect of a LinkedIn email is terrible. I have no idea. I don't know about y'all. Anybody get a LinkedIn email and they go, nope. Right? And I learned that really early on from recruiting because it just felt salesy. It felt just like it's just an awful product. I got to fix that, make it more native. So always add a note. So what I would do, hey, Sean, currently speaking at a conference. Saw you went to USC. Go Cox. We're the Gamecocks, FYI. I'm not getting weird. Would love to connect. Send. Right? That's one. Almost died. Next thing, right? So you do that. I would go to Linnell. Connect. Add note. Went to South Carolina. And go down the line. I will tell you how many connects. I think there was, 25? I bet you if I did this, 28 results. I bet I could get 20 people would at least respond to me. Now, here's the deal. You have to be specific in the ask. Most of y'all go, and I get them. Not from anybody here, because I call you out. Hey, Taylor. Bitch, what? What are we doing? Right? I don't have time. I'll text my wife if she goes, hey, Taylor. That's usually I'm in trouble. I'm not going to message you back. Right? Go for the ask. Hey, Taylor, saw your content. Love your shit. Really need your help on this one specific question. Too many of us are scared to go through that. I firmly believe most of you all in here could find a job 10x faster. I'm just making up that number. Let's be honest. If you just actually were intentional in the DMs. The problem is we're all too scared to speak up for ourselves. Now, I think that's a millennial thing, right? There's like TikToks made about this, so I know it's real, right? Is that like we kind of were raised in a household, like I don't know about y'all, but it's like just be seen, not heard type situation, right? A lot of head nods, amen, preach, that'll preach type situation, right? We're like, I'm Taylor. I can't, don't want to upset you. Y'all, this is your fucking career we're talking about. You want to approach your career and like the whole like, right? Be confident. Go for the ask. Listen, and also another thing too. Now, the original DM is the original. The original DM, I would still go for the ask, right? Hey, went South Carolina, would always love to work at Cummings. Would love to talk with you about our time at South Carolina. Here's the deal. If you can bond and ask the person about not a job, you're most likely going to get a response. What I've realized since COVID is that the people are tired of getting beaten over the head with technical content. And people are tired of talking tech all the time. There's been a little bit of a groundswell within my small tech ecosystem on Twitter and Blue Sky that I've seen is like, man, I'd really love a conference that like has soft skills, right? I love a conference that like, I can talk about, raising a round for a VC, right? I feel like there's this itch to like connect with people on a more human level than just bits and bytes. Now listen, we got to know about the latest version of Angular, Mark Thompson, right? Like we got to know about that shit. But at the end of the day, if I message Sean and be like, yo, what about Shane Beamer getting Coach of the Year, which he did today? I bet you Sean's going to respond back to me. Because we're talking about football, right? How many of y'all like are in like another like F1 community or a soccer community? Yeah, Ryan, which communities are you kind of involved with? Yeah, that's some nerd shit right there. Yeah, right? Yeah, I get the F1 though. You're my man right there, right? That's how we bond. But that's how we bonded. That don't matter. Williams has a few years before they can win. But the thing is like the first time I met Ryan at a coffee shop in Austin in January, we broke bread, aka had coffee. I had cold brew. And literally we just bonded about F1. We didn't talk about the job search. We didn't talk about bits and bytes. We didn't talk about the latest version of .NET. Partly because I don't know any of that. But that's not the point. The point of the matter is that we talked about something non-technical. And so if you can look at people's interests, does everybody know where people's interests are on their LinkedIn? Yeah, they need to fix that. Right? But like top voices, I'm a big Gary Vaynerchuk fan. Anybody here a Gary Vaynerchuk fan? A few of us? Yep, exactly. If you message me about that, it'd be great. I follow Natalie from Wishoff Ventures, right? Love her. I don't know what else is here. Schools, right? University of South Carolina. Scrimba. I spoke at Scrimba a few times, right? My man, right? So again, if you look at that stuff. I truly think, and we'll get to this in a minute about resumes. I think putting hobbies on resumes is actually great now. I used to not talk about it. Be like, no, I don't put that. People don't care. I think people do care now. I think people want that human connection more than they ever have right now. And so highly recommend doing that. I do want to go through your LinkedIn profile real quick. If you, I will tell you this, I know this is going to be recorded. I would still write this down. So I think it's incredibly important information. All right, first thing I want to talk about, the banner thingamajigger. I don't know the banner thingy, right? Where the picture is. I think it's fascinating that LinkedIn in a text-heavy platform has a picture choice at the top of your profile, right? Use this to leverage the individual coming into your LinkedIn. There's a lot of marketing, so I'm going to pull in like a lot of marketing stuff and a lot of dating stuff. I met my wife on Tinder, okay? Swiped right. It's before Tinder got weird, by the way. It's back in like 2013, 2014, right? So basically your LinkedIn is your Tinder profile. Make it look good. You don't want to put an ugly ass photo of yourself if you're trying to holler at a girl or boy, right? This is how it works. So why are you doing that to your LinkedIn, right? So your top banner thingy needs to be something that draws the person in. I use this example every single time. I don't remember the guy's name. If he knew I was getting this many mileage out of our conversation, he'd probably bill me for it. But basically, I did a one-on-one career coaching session with this junior developer. I said, man, just tell me about yourself. I was like, because I just need to know a little about you so we can kind of craft this conversation. He goes, well, I'm currently in the audio engineer. I'm an audio engineer. So that's great. Don't know what that is. But he was like, he goes, well, recently I was the Backstreet Boys audio engineer for one of their recent shows. I was like, really? He's like, yeah. I was like, that's pretty cool. So basically, I was like, well, put that on the top of your banner, right? Does anybody know what Canva is? I think at this point, everybody knows what Canva is, right? Design for Dummies. I seriously think that should literally be their slogan, Design for Dummies. And like literally, he put that up there. Like in text, you can go to Canva. There's like a LinkedIn banner thing section. And he was like, former audio engineer for Backstreet Boys turning software developer, something like that. I'm not shitty. I'm not making this up. I swear to you. He messages me a month later, goes, Taylor, you won't believe this. I said, you got a job. He goes, I did. I go, how did you do it? He goes, a recruiter wanted to talk to me about the Backstreet Boys. Shit works, y'all. This shit works. Now, there's some different flavors of what I talk about, but it works, right? So please make it captivating. Tell me about yourself. Like if you're a chef, right? I don't know, love chopping onions. Right? I hate chopping onions. It cracks me every time. I got to put on like a ski goggle at this point, right? But like chopping onions, I don't know, do something fun, right? I think it's happened with COVID. There's this whole like, there's this wall that was broken between professional, like corporate speak and like the personal side of things, right? We were all in each other's homes. I mean, think about it. We were all doing like Zoom calls with like babies and dogs and plus ones all around, right? And now we're back like in office, like that vibe is still there. So use that to your advantage, right? I think the more personable you can be, especially with your LinkedIn, the more successful you're going to be in the job search. Next thing, profile picture. Be happy. This is not Instagram. Don't be moody. None of this black and white looking over. Anybody with emo kid? I used to straight iron my hair back in the day. I also used to wear guy liner too, which is a whole nother conversation. There is a picture or video of me somewhere out there. Like, be happy, right? I think there's some marketing in play here about how your picture looks. What does it look like, right? I love this. Brilliant Black Minds at Render had the head booth, the picture thing, headshots. Thank you. So Jason's used to this. He works with me. But so like the headshots, right? Headshot booth. I always take it. I think like that stands out, right? Now, my wife's a photographer, so I can say this confidently. You could do this like at your house. Just go outside and either take a photo in front of like a crazy background with a plain shirt or a crazy shirt with a plain background, right? For example, this guy, Dan Thompson. Dan, if you're watching, hello. That picture was shot in my bedroom. That sounds weird. I should preface. Yeah. All righty. I told you it's gonna get weird for 2 hours. Like it's just gonna start saying weird shit. But like Dan, like my wife took that, granted, but it's literally like it's just a white wall, and he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt. That's all it is, right? But like, look happy, look pleasant. It's your first introduction of what your potential employer is going to see, right? Like Jordan. I didn't know Jordan before this. I think Jordan's profile pic is happy. She looks nice. And she is. Imagine that. All right. Let's go back. Does anybody have any questions so far? I'm talking a lot. Yes.
So how do you like balance that?
Yeah, so the question is you can only kind of message a certain amount of people. I don't know how it works with notes. If you send a note, but I believe as long as you send a note, I think you can do that a little bit. It's unlimited.
Yeah, you do have there's a limit weekly as to how many connections you can make, however.
Yes, which like it's like 200 people or something like that. So as long as you send the note, that doesn't count against you, right? So that is what I would recommend. Is everybody have experience with that? Is that confirmed? We got questions about you. It does? Okay. Okay. So I would get premium, just to be honest with you. And then we're going to talk about other networking. So we're talking about other ways other than LinkedIn. But yes, LinkedIn makes you pay. But again, I would recommend it. And also, we're going to talk about why putting out content is important as well because of that. Say what? All right. Wow. That's fantastic. This is why I pay Patrick the big bucks to be with me. Good job, Patrick. I'll give you a raise. All right. The next thing I want to talk about is the title portion. This thing, incredibly important. Incredibly important. Like recruiters are too lazy. I say that we're lazy. A lot of us are, but we also have too much going on at one time to click on every single profile. So like this needs to be like directly to the point. Junior devs, stop putting junior developer because I immediately disqualify you. And listen, I'm just going to be honest, right? Now, because the whole point is you want the DMs to come in. You want the conversations to start, which we'll get to in a second. But right here, be very specific, right? But don't give, like, nobody searches CSS. Nobody searches JavaScript. Like if I'm a recruiter and I need a React developer, I'm going to search React developer, not React and CSS or HTML, right? Put the core skill sets up there, right? If you are a junior developer, you know, I've seen a lot do like software developer, parentheses, React, you know, SQL or whatever. I've also seen people trying to career transition like a software developer targeting X, targeting Y, those type of positions, right? But again, and this is, I want to show you this real quick. If I'm looking for a React developer, I type in React developer. Then let's say, and if y'all haven't messed with the filters aren't great, but it's at least something. I'd mess around with them if I were you. And let's say I'd want to do, let's just say Nashville. That's where I'm from. Show results. There's 560 people in Nashville with some sort of React developer in their profile. I don't have time to sift through 560 people. I just don't. So what I'm going to look at is I'm literally, and again, I'm telling you, like software developer, right? Nashville Software School, great boot camp in Nashville. This is a junior developer. I like when junior developers do this, right? Again, I'd probably tell Austin, no one searches HTML5 or JavaScript. I just put C# React.net, right? Again, let's see here. So again, kind of going through, but that's what I look for. Now, again, I'm not every recruiter, but that is what I've looked for if I'm going to message you.
So broadly, it's like more specialized terms versus more general.
Correct. Yeah, a lot of people put a lot of general terms in there. Like the way recruiters are with Boolean searches is we just if we need to find a back-end developer with Node and AWS, we're going to search Node and AWS, and that's it. So I'd also look at other job descriptions for the types of jobs you want to get and cross-reference that and try to add those terms into your LinkedIn profile. Does that make sense? All right, moving on because we are having fun. All right, the about section. This right here, listen, you're not going to make or break a job by this, but in my opinion, I think it is important for you to have as much keywords in it as feasible. When I say keywords, I mean technical keywords because you want to get caught up in the search engine optimization thingamajigger as much as humanly possible, right? Use the featured section, right? Whether you're senior or junior, put stuff there that you want people to check out. Your portfolio, a blog you wrote, right? Aaron's, writing blogs for GitHub, right? Like I'd tell him to put his blog that he's proud of on there, right? Something to where if somebody hits your profile, they go, I want to check out more about Taylor. What are they going to look at, right? So for me, it's the latest Build in Public vlog I have with Torque. It's my job search announcement, and then it's my Build in Public Torque email newsletter. All right, moving on here. Activity section is incredibly important. Be active, be engaged. Also, the activity portion is a great hack to network with somebody in the DMs. Because if you scroll through their activity section, if you hit me up and was like, hey, Taylor, saw you at Danny Thompson's conference last week. How did it go? Props to you for being the only non-technical speaker speaking. I'd be like, okay, cool. What's up? It's intentionality, right? I think what happens in the job search right now is we're so concerned about, I always mess this up, width and not depth, right? We're so concerned about submitting 5,000 applications and we wonder why 5,000 of them get rejected. right? I literally had a DM. I don't have time to pull it up. It's probably why I got to prep more. But basically, I had a guy message me, and he goes, "You weren't kidding, Taylor." He was like, "I've submitted, no lie, 500 resumes for jobs I'm 80 to 90% qualified for, and I've had no response back." What are we doing? Like what? Like what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. Why do we keep doing the same thing? It does not work. One of my favorite followers on Twitter right now is Random Recruiter. Anybody know who Random Recruiter is on Twitter? Incredible. Now that I've kind of gone away from the job search, just day-to-day content, highly recommend following him. Shout out Jason for getting him. Torque, we're putting together a job search panel. Me, Kelly Vaughn, Random Recruiter. Who else is going to be on it? And the Job Father. Jermaine's going to be on there too. We're going to be hosting that panel in January. That's a banger of a panel. Shout out Jason putting that together. But again, right here, it's like also I have some people. Matt or Tim, you in here? You DMing me? Yeah, let's go. Let's go. There you go. So again, be intentional. Go through people's activities. Prime example, one of my buddies, Connor Bush. Connor is in Nashville. He was at Evernote. He wanted to work at Netflix. He told me what he was doing is he would go to Netflix. He would search Netflix on LinkedIn, go to their engineering managers, go to every single engineering manager's activity section, find a post that they posted, and message them referencing something that they posted that they were trying to implement in Evernote. About 30 DMs later, he had one respond back. After 14 conversations, he now has a job at Netflix. Again, I'm not making this shit up. It's what it does. This is why I'm so passionate about having this conversation with you all, because this is the shit that changes your career. This. But again, it's a mind fuck because we as society think activity is the same as productivity. It is not. Right? You may only literally message 5 people in a week, 1 a day, and you're like, Taylor, I'm not doing anything. No, you are. That's the thing. And that is what I want to get into y'all's skulls today, is that if you leave here, I want you to be like, all right, it's not about activity, right? It's about doing the small things. It's about messages, about being intentional. It's about crafting a message to where that person's going to respond, right? Which is why I'm so passionate about email marketing. If you follow me on Blue Sky, I've been bitching about emails lately. So anyways, all right. So I need to update mine, but when it comes to LinkedIn's, so I actually, I'm gonna pull up my boy Ray. And does anybody know Ray? He's in Atlanta. Ray's great. Highly recommend following him. Ray, if you're watching, hello. So I actually helped Ray write his LinkedIn. Let me. Yeah. Everybody see that? Re-architected our primary front-end application over a 6-year span, migrating front-end frameworks and scaling the code base from 200,000 to 1.4 million lines of code. I helped him write that shit. I'm gonna put that on tattoo. That's good. That's good right there. Right? That's good. Right? Research integrated, documented, and rolled out a third-party feature flag management tool as well. Nope. Yep. As building customer tooling solutions to save the company $60,000 a year. Oh God, so much talking. Built an in-house. Reducing staging environment deployments by 50%. Design system supporting over 12,000 localized strings in 4 languages. You guys see where I'm getting at here? Most of y'all like, I developed React stuff. And then you wonder why you're not getting called, right? I did .NET. Yeah, no shit. Everybody does .NET. What have you done? What have you done? If I look at your bullet point and I can't tell you what you specifically have done, I'm not calling you. You have to understand something. In this market right now, it is highly competitive, right? You're probably I feel like you're yelling at me. Yes, I'm trying to get your fucking attention here. Because the problem is most of y'all are doing the same thing like every other applicant right now. I want this group to be special, right? I seriously, I want y'all to be special. I want y'all to come out of here and be like, yeah, I have the tools now to basically transform the next 10 years of my career. Yes.
The thing I noticed is like in the use a lot of metrics, a lot of numbers, and I think that was that part of your strategy?
Yes.
It breaks up the text and then it gives like
Yes, 100%. Random recruiter I literally emailed him. I don't know if he knew I was speaking. I know we didn't, but I literally emailed him. I was like, bro, everything that you're literally posting is I'm going to talk about. And I literally emailed him. I was like, I'm going to mention you a ton of times in my talk. But he actually has a resume template. I do too. I'm going to pull it up here in a second. But the more quantitative you can get, the better. Now, the biggest question is, Taylor, I don't know how much. Like, I don't know how much I've saved the company. I don't know. Here's the deal. No one's fact checking you. Now, don't be lying too much, right? I mean, here's the deal, right? I'm gonna talk to Ray. I love Ray, but I'm like, really? 45,000 stage and employment environment deploys? I mean, he may be like, well, maybe 40, but it doesn't matter, right? Like, no one's gonna go through and like comb through this with like a fine-tooth comb, but you need to be able to speak to it. I was where was it a TikTok? Probably a TikTok, knowing me. Somebody was talking about how no, it was Black Men in Tech. I had the opportunity to speak at Black Men in Tech this year at in October. Cam Ward does a hell of a conference. If you want a soft skills conference, please go there. It's all panels, and one of the panels I went to, this female engineering manager was talking about how during her career she interviewed with somebody that literally questioned her 10 years ago what happened. That's all the interview focused on. I mean, that freaks me out, right? If you ask me like what I did 10 years ago at Vaco, like, ugh. But again, the whole point is, can you speak to it, right? So anything you put down on this, make sure you speak to it. Does that make sense? But be quantitative as much as you feasibly. Listen, I get it. You can't go to accounting and be like, hey, what's the credits and debits? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that, right? But like, again, try to get as quantitative as possible. Any questions on this, on the body of it? No? Yes. Of course, always, Tessa.
But to add to that, if you go to the job description for the job that you are looking at and they're talking about problems and you solve that problem, it doesn't matter if you have metrics, just talk about the problem that you solved when you're approaching that up.
That, absolutely. Also, too, easy way. You're like, I don't know how to write a resume. Go Google the job you want and then just write your resume based off the bullet points in the job you want. Yes. So what? You got to what?
You gotta rewrite it for everyone.
Yep. And also, you shouldn't be applying to jobs. I'm giving you a hard time a little bit, but we're going to get to, again, try to get to somebody first. Now, a lot of times, if you talk with an HR individual or hiring manager, they're going to be like, you're going to have to submit your resume, right? You have to submit your resume in the system. But here's, and I've talked with multiple hiring managers. Kelly Vaughn is a dear friend of mine, and she and I text all the time. She's a great follow if you do not follow her on Twitter. She's way funnier than I am. She said herself that if somebody messages her on the front end about a job on LinkedIn, ask a very good question or talks about their background and why they're a fit for the job, and she tells them to go submit their resume to the posting, and she sees their name, she will remember them and look at their resume. So again, to answer your question, yes, you're going to have to probably write your resume, but we'll get to this resume here in a second, and there's a way around it. So BRB, okay? Yeah.
Just quick, like the workflow of a recruiter, I don't know a lot about it. So it's like if I'm going through and I'm blasting applications, two people I know, like in this, would I do the LinkedIn DM and then automatically do the resume, like do the submission of the resume, or would I wait till they like put it in the system?
There's no right answer here. Okay. But I love the workflow. The way I would always start with LinkedIn first. Yeah. Hop on LinkedIn, go to the company you want to work for, or go to the job section, start perusing the jobs, go to the company that has a job posted, start messaging hiring managers, try not to ask about a job, right? Maybe you have some interest, maybe you've always wanted to work there, would love to know about your time working there, what makes you love working there, blah, blah, blah. If you're a junior developer, I think you have the best question to ask. Hey, if you're looking to hire somebody as a junior developer, what skills do you look for? Because then what happens is the hiring manager was, first off, you're like interested. Second off, the hiring manager goes, yeah, I would love to chat with you. Guess what you just did? You got yourself an interview, right? So again, like go through the DMs. If you see a job, apply. and or wait if you want to and message that person, be like, hey, and then if you have a good conversation, be like, well, I did see you have a job. Bring it up at the end. Listen, it's just like dating.
Yeah.
Not going to say sometimes what the end result some people want, but you typically don't want to lead with that. Everybody catch my drift? You want to finagle a little bit, right? You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. Just listen, let's call it what it is. So if you have a call with the hiring manager and you're out here going, I want a job. Like, bro, chill. Time out. Don't feel safe, right? So again, like same thing. Have some finesse, please. All right, LinkedIn. I only have an hour left, and this is terrifying. So there's so much more to talk about. I want to go to the resume real quick. Does anybody have any questions about LinkedIn? We good? Sweet. All right. Yes. Yeah, I love thoughts. Go ahead.
What if you're not from tech? So I went to the school and they kind of coached us some things. They were like, ice everything. But when I did that, I had absolutely nothing. So I put all my stuff back. So how do we like leverage? Because all I have is just like the stuff I worked on. So how do we like leverage stuff old stuff we used to do and then do this?
So the question, I want to make sure I'm hearing you right. If you're trying to jump from one career to another, into tech, right?
Yeah.
All right. Prime example. I was a server at Outback Steakhouse. I think Outback Steakhouse is the best chain restaurant. Don't at me. Okay. Thank you. Thanks so much. That chocolate thunder from that under slaps every time. All right. Here's the deal. That bloom nutting hurts my tummy. Basically, what I would do. Actually, let's just do better. What career are you coming from? Fragrances. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. This is going to be a little hard. We may stick with my example. Okay. All right. Here's what I would do. Try to pick out what makes you special in the fragrance industry and explain it to me like I'm not in the fragrance industry and why you're important in that industry so I can understand it to where it could apply to the job. Prime example, serve tables, right? If I said on my job description, on my resume, I serve tables. I make sure customers are happy. Again, no shit, right? But if I told you, hey, when I was serving tables over the last 2 years, I was able to get server of the month 6 times and nobody else on the team got it more than twice. That's different, right? We had a sales competition to who sells the most bloomin' onions, and I hit that 3 times. Nobody else hit it once. What does that tell you about me? I'm a hell of a salesperson if I'm trying to get into sales, right? If you're trying to get into some sort of industry in tech, know what they're looking for. What I would do is I would go to the job description, go to the very bottom. There's usually a soft skills, right? And try to figure out how your background applies to the soft skills. Does anybody have any more thoughts? Leon, you got any thoughts on this? Here, stand up. I can't hear you. Stand up. Come on, man. Stand up.
So I think through narrative, right? Coming from preferences, what I would say is, all right, what was the pain point that you have that you can transition to tech? So when I was selling fragrances, I was trying to use platforms to sell the fragrances. They kept having issues. I couldn't actually sell the fragrances at the speed I wanted to. So then I started to build products to make it easier for me to sell fragrances, which led to me building software and applications to help people solve real problems. For clients today, they love the problems that your company solves. So for you, you would want to have a project in your portfolio that then backs up that narrative. And then when you're approaching and talking to someone, you can lean into that narrative to like, why am I in front of you? Well, I've been solving these problems for 10 plus years. It was in a different industry, but I'm going to solve the same problems for you and in this new industry. And as long as you have that narrative and you can build that in your resume, you can build that in your LinkedIn, then it makes sense why you're reaching out to
That's why he's the GOAT right there. Sounds good. Yeah.
Question about the connection notes.
Yeah, the connection notes, yep.
Actually, is possible to make templates about it, or is necessary to post?
Sure, you do templates, but that goes against what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
What to ask? Because like to ask 15 minutes to talk, or what to ask in that?
It's a good question. Back before COVID hit, I was telling everybody to ask every hiring manager 7 minutes to talk, 11 minutes to talk. Don't say 5. If your mom says, do you got to talk for 5 minutes? How long is that conversation? My mom is an hour. Don't say 5 minutes. Don't say 10 minutes. I used to say that. Now hiring managers are super busy right now because all that middle management has been laid off because of the market right now. So ain't no one got time to talk right now. So I'd ask very poignant questions about something you want to learn or gain knowledge of, right? So again, I bring up Kelly here. So Kelly's been Spot AI is a video surveillance AI company, right? So let's say you wanted to get involved in AI, right? You ask Kelly a specific question about AI, right? Or I've always wanted to get into video surveillance. Ask Kelly a specific question about video surveillance. Does that make sense? Start the conversation that way, because the way this whole thing works is, again, kind of like what Aaron Francis talked about. It's top of mind brand awareness. So if your name, it comes in my inbox and you're thoughtful. I mean, Dominic, dude, I mean, he's like on my lives all the time. And I mean, he and I've met obviously a ton of conferences, but like, I felt like I knew this dude. And all he did was sign into my lives every day and go, hey, day after day after day after day after day, right? Now, I'm not saying message managers day after day after day after day. Taylor told me to, but I'm saying is like be thoughtful, and the more thoughtful you are, the more intentional you are, the more you're gonna stand out, especially in this, and especially right now. Okay. All right, resume real quick, because I believe it or not, 2 hours is enough time. I love this resume template. This is going to become on torque.dev's website, but it's not there yet. This is on a website called Unghosted. Unghosted. It actually, a buddy of mine who's at Microsoft, senior product, and he was a former director of engineering. He and I had a series, unghosted.live. If you want to go to this, it's our resume template, which I'm going to use on Torque's page here soon. So unghosted.live. It's scroll to the bottom. This resume template, I'm not going to go through it in depth. It's pretty easy. The biggest thing I would say, get quantitative. If you don't work for a company in FANG, I need to know about the company size. Like, for example, like when I was at Gun.io, we were like 10 million revenue, right? We weren't small. We're not big, but we weren't small. But you're not going to know who they are, right? If I were to ever leave Torque, I'm never going to leave Torque. But if I ever left Torque, I'd probably give you some information. Torque is a talent marketplace that has 20 individuals and does 15 million in revenue a year, right? Give an example of the company you're at if you don't work for a big company. Please make it quantitative. Again, I have kind of all of the kind of tips and tricks in here. The biggest thing to include is don't use italicized, by the way. It hurts my eyes. But the big thing is give a recap, especially if you're a developer, of all the technologies and tools that you use in each position in the last bullet point, because that helps you get caught up in the search engine, right? So I would do a heavy dosage of like, I used X to solve Y because of Z. Job Father just tweeted that the other day and made me feel good, because I was like, all right, we're aligned. I'm not crazy, right? So I used X technology to solve Y because of Z. And then at the end of every position you have held, write all the tools and technologies that you've touched in each position. Does that all make sense? All right, cool. Sweet. Great. That's resume, LinkedIn stuff. So we're going to cover, I want to touch on community real quick, but I do want to get to the meat and potatoes around interviewing. So the power of community. Listen, Aaron spoke that conversation was amazing. But basically what I want to get to is, wait, I have slides. Wait, I have a slide on this. Wait, yeah, we're going to use slides. Hold on. No, we didn't even use Blue Sky. Hold on, shit. All right. So Blue Sky. All right, I'll tell you this. Everybody knows Twitter. Everybody knows Blue Sky. It's kind of the same. It's whatever. You can use the same way. Blue Sky gives you a ton of opportunity right now to network with developers. Okay. There's obviously hiring managers on it and decision makers on it, but like now's the chance. If you've ever wanted to slide in someone's DMs to network, now it's time to do it on Blue Sky. I've used it to my advantage, and I have slid into so many people's DMs on Blue Sky that I've always wanted to meet because their Twitter inbox was too loud. Right. So now's the time. It's attention grab. Attention is starting to go to Blue Sky. Like, if I was a dev recruiter right now, and I've made a post about this, and of course, like nobody responded, I was like, well, sucks to be y'all. This is, if I was a recruiter, I would get into Blue Sky and I would just recruit off Blue Sky, because nobody's inbox is full yet, right? If you message me on Blue Sky, I'm going to respond back to you, right? On Twitter, it's spam. So, And again, LinkedIn gives you a ton of opportunities to get in touch with managers, right? That's how I view it. If you want to network with other developers, Blue Sky. If you want to network with decision makers, use LinkedIn. All right, you got to have community. We're not meant to go through this life alone. Content leads to community. Community leads to referrals. Referrals leads to jobs. You guys like my slides? They're great. I saw Aaron's slides and I was like, Jesus Christ. And then here's mine. Right. So listen, here's the deal. I think without harping on this, it's like Aaron said, you got to be known for something. Listen, there's a lot of people out there that know a lot I'm just gonna say it. I have felt imposter syndrome more over the last 4 years of my career than I ever felt in my entire career. Right. And I will tell you this, like, there's a lot of amazing, like, job seeking people out there, but like, you gotta understand something. There's also a good gazillion people in the world, right? There's enough for everybody, right? Like, if you want to talk about React, you're like, oh my gosh, like, you know, Kent Dodds, like, you know, he does all this React stuff. It's like, I don't want to talk about React. Listen, that's one person, right? There's enough to go around for everybody. And the thing is like, once you start to become known for something, you start to get opportunities. Listen, I don't know how it works, but it just does, right? Like Tessa, right? Like, prime example. Devra. Like, if I hear Devra, I'm like Tessa, right? Devra, Tessa. It's just like it's literally synonymous, right? And so guess what? Tessa does her own thing now because she has posted enough. She has been vocal enough. She is now known. I mean, it's like anything Devra. I was like, I don't know. Talk Tessa. I don't know. Just talk to her. I don't know. You know, it's just how it works. Consistency, right? If you're like, Taylor, I don't know what to post. I would make one post a day on LinkedIn with every session that you attended. So every session that you attended for today and tomorrow, I would create one post a day based off something you've learned and tag that person. I will tell you this, I would not be where I'm at today if I didn't comment on social media on everybody's posts. At the fundamental level, it's literally just commenting, liking on people's posts. It's the craziest shit, but it's what it is, right? Like, prime example, Dom, here, prime example. Hey man, this is role play. I know we know each other. Just bear with me here. Hey man, what's your name?
Hi, Dominic.
Hey man, I'm Taylor. What do you do? Just go with me here.
Oh, it's a bit.
It's a bit, yes, yes.
I'm a software engineer.
Great, awesome. What do you code in?
React.
Great, awesome. It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, you can literally do that shit by liking and commenting something on Instagram or LinkedIn or Twitter. That exchange can happen 60 times a day on LinkedIn if you want it to. Do you understand that? Like, listen, some of y'all are extroverts. I am not. I'm going to go cry in a corner after this talk. I'm going to be so exhausted. But the thing is, though, is that like I can sit on my computer at home and I can comment and say, what's up? Let's go. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. And listen, I mean it. And I do it every day, over and over and over and over again. Then 4 years later, I'm VP of Global Community. That's a big fucking title, which basically means I comment on people's posts on LinkedIn. And so what I'm saying is that, and again, I want to give flowers to Ryan. I mean, literally, I was having lunch with Ryan the other day, 2 days. How many days? Was it yesterday? It was yesterday. Holy cow. Right? So I was having lunch with Ryan. I was like, man, have you ever, I was like, you found a job in tech, right? He goes, no, I'm still trying. I was like, what? That's crazy. Why? Because Ryan is on Twitter consistently posting and engaging and talking tech and and documenting. And I think Ryan's like doing the damn thing. And he's not yet, but he is. Right? Jason, fuck, where you go? This was like Jason. I was gonna give Jason his flowers, and he's not here. So Jason, prime example, right? Everybody know Jason Torres? Raise your hand. Yeah. I mean, just an absolute animal when it comes to networking. I hired him to be just go network for me, or Torque, not for me. But basically, I hired Jason because Jason did not have a job in tech. He went through 100 devs, Gridiron Survivor. I saw him build. And I even hired him to do some of my content part-time, posting, kind of engaging some video stuff. And so I was like, all right, yeah, this is great. This is great. And literally, once I got the budget to hire one person in the US, Jason, again, did that conference, raised a ton of money for a friend's wife who has cancer. Has anybody done that in here? You helped me. Yeah, that's not the point, Tessa. I knew you were gonna say something. But like, that's incredible. Who in here has thrown a virtual conference and raised thousands of dollars for a friend's wife who has cancer? He did the work. I didn't interview him. I literally was like, you want to come work for me? He was like, yeah. And there we go. Right? Which leads to me kind of another thing too. I think right now in this market, you kind of got to do the job before you get the job. And I know it's a little bit of a hot take, and I know it's probably going to ruffle some feathers, and I understand that because it's like, well, that's not fair, yada, yada, and I get it. But right now, this market's so competitive. If you want to get a job doing AI, I would be documenting a project on LinkedIn that you are building from scratch in AI. Right? If you want a job doing Node, I would literally document. And you're like, Taylor, documenting. Yes. I mean, literally, like, I had the biggest man crush on Aaron Francis. I literally like wanted to like hug him for like a very, very long time. That would have been very inappropriate because he was so right. He was so right. Right? Leon, never met this dude in my life, but I've seen him constantly posting. Right? Patrick, who I hired to do all my content for me and Torque. Right? While I did know him, like I saw his stuff. It's the same thing. You have to do the work before you get the job. Prime example, this guy, you're like, Taylor, I'm sick and tired of like social media, like bullshit talk out here. All right, let me give you a prime example. This guy, his name was Adam Mitchell. He's in Nashville, no social media, senior .NET architect. I worked with him probably 6 years ago when Azure was starting to come out, specifically Azure Functions. Still don't know what that does. But basically, like, this client wanted Azure Functions. And I called him. I was like, hey, I see you have Azure on your resume. Have you done functions? He was like, not professionally, but I have a side project where I've spun it up. I've done this, and this using Azure Functions. I said, great, let's just give it a shot. Send it over to the client, got the job. There's no social media in there. He's just doing the damn thing, right? So again, just incredibly, now I'm really nervous, Mark's here. It's just like, it's so incredibly important to do the thing before you get the thing. And if you're like, well, Taylor, I don't want to post. I don't want to be a social media influencer. I don't want to be taking pictures like Mark, right? I don't know how to work a camera. I don't have an email newsletter. You got to go volunteer somewhere, right? Listen, churches, they always need help. Let's just be honest, right? Go to a local nonprofit. Hey, do you have you been working on any sort of, is there any sort of project that I can take on? I will do for free. Just get me the experience. Now, it's another type of topic that's like, I get it. Working for free. I understand not many people can afford that. I'm not saying 40 hours a week free. I'm saying like 1 to 2 hours a week free. Jason Torres, I paid him, but it was a very low cost. I didn't have the money to be able to pay him what he deserved. And I told him that on the front end, and he still did it. And look, he's got a job with me now. You gotta be scrappy right now. You have to be scrappy. Okay? Community leads to referrals. Talked with a director of engineering recently. He had 2 staff engineer spots open front end. I was like, hey, bro, would love to help you fill them. And he goes, would love that too, but I have 15 direct referrals. Not to mention 600 applicants. I planned that sip of water, by the way. I'm not a little dramatic effect. Right. Fact of the matter is that everyone's looking right now, and there's so much just junk out there. And again, the more intentional you can be, the more you're going to cut through the noise. But referrals are everything. Referrals are everything. But, oh, side note, before you submit your damn resume to a job, make sure if you have a friend that works there, tell them first. Typically, companies internally have like some sort of like referral thing where they pay that person up to $5,000 for placing you. That person's going to be like super, super pumped to try to get you a job. But once you submit your resume, that ownership is done. It's done. The most recent job search I was at when I left my company of 11 years, I was at Vaco before I got a job at Gun.io. I messaged Angie Jones. I was like, Angie, girl, I'm on a job search. What you got? She goes, I got a referral code. Use this. I actually got the job at Gun before I was able to kind of go through the processes, but like I used that, right? I literally messaged everybody. I was like, hey, who? Literally, I want to give another specific example of how doing something very small and insignificant leads to a job. I was talking to my boss recently. I said, how'd you know about me? Like, because he's not, I mean, he's a lurker. Anybody a lurker here? Like, don't really post. Your hand shot real fast. Yeah. You're a big lurker back there, right? So it's like you're lurking, like, I don't like stuff. He's a lurker, right? Dave, if you're watching this, you're a lurker. And so, he was like, no, he goes, I got your name because you spoke at Scrimba like 6 years ago. So Scrimba is a great platform. And anybody know who Scrimba is in here? Yeah, a few of us. Yeah. And I got a DM by an individual, and they were like, hey, do you want to come speak? And again, going back to Aaron Francis's talk, I thought I made it. I was like, oh shit, somebody wants me to speak to like a code boot camp. Like I was like a typical recruiter. I was like, I mean, yeah, let's do it. I could have turned it down. I could have been like, are you paying? How much do you charge? Or how much do I charge? Not you charge. Right? And so I'd be like, but I did. I was like, sure, absolutely, I'll do it. This individual ended up consulting for my boss at Torque and told him about me. That'll preach. Right? And now I'm here. 6 years later. You have to understand something. The connections that you make at one of these conferences may not pay off for another 6-7 years from now. The problem is we as human beings, and listen, I'm this way too. You talking about like, I want it now. I mean, I am the worst at it. But I'm telling you, your career is a long game. This is not something like that you're gonna like figure out tomorrow. Listen, here's the deal. I have wanted a VP title for a very long time. I finally got it. What did I say? That's it? Now what? Right? We're always looking for now what? And you got to enjoy the journey. And I know people say that, but listen, at the end of the day, you can only get so many titles. At the end of the day, for the most part, salary bands, pay ranges are all about the same outside of FANG, right? And so I would just encourage you all to like enjoy this. Enjoy the meeting the people, enjoy the KFC, right? Enjoy the late night conversations at conferences. Because I'm telling you, those conversations, those intimate conversations that you have with somebody in a hall is going to drastically affect your career 5-6 years from now. But that is where community comes in. That is where referrals leads to jobs, is right here. Listen, this is not normal. You have to understand something. What Danny has done in his first, I mean, I talked to Danny just a few minutes ago. Danny hasn't like slept. Like I was like, that's not healthy. He was like, I mean, like maybe an hour or two. I was like, okay. So if you see him, give him a hug, because this shit's hard. It is hard, and I will tell you this much. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, clap it out for sure. This is incredibly, and this is not normal. I have been on the conference circuit now for a bit, and I'm sure a lot of speakers in here will attest this. There's a lot of conferences that have folded. A lot. Enjoy this. This is where community is built. And I will tell you this, in a blink of an eye, we'll be done. We'll all go home tomorrow afternoon, right? And we'll say we'll look forward to the next one. But the problem is a lot of us don't take advantage for what's happening right now, okay? So again, I know I'm spending a little bit more time on this part, this community part. This is community. Liking and commenting on people's posts, giving somebody a handshake, giving somebody a hug, telling them you like their talk, right? It all comes back around. Again, like Mark, right? Mark Thompson in the back. I had the opportunity to interview him on my podcast, right? I've been a fan with him for a long time, right? Every time I see him, I want to make sure I hug him because I don't get to see him that much. And I'm not just saying that because he's in here. I would say that about Danny. I would say that, I mean, like I said, I wanted to hug Aaron for a very long time, right? I've never met him in person, but I did a podcast with him. And I started that connection on the front end. Tessa, prime example. She and I have never been able to cross paths at a conference because I'm always leaving. She's coming in. We finally be able to see each other. I have not met, but I feel like I know Tessa. She posts on Twitter about her cows, right? It's crazy. Tessa's like the best follow ever, right? Right? And so, like, again, but I know her and I know her family because I engage on social.
And because I open myself up to the community.
Boom. See, I don't need to do this talk. Y'all got it. All right. So we got this. You guys are great. Is everybody still hanging on by a thread right now? Everybody hanging by a thread? We good? We still good? Got a thumbs up? All right. Real quick. I want to do this side of the room, network with that side of the room. Let's do a quick break for like 2 minutes. Go. Just network. Y'all go over here. Pull out your LinkedIn. And then over here, pull out your LinkedIn and go over here. Real quick. 2 minutes. Quick break. Get some water. Real fast. And then we'll finish up the last 40 minutes. Yeah, 40 minutes. 2 minutes. Pull out your LinkedIn. Say what?
I'm here to network with you.
Hell yeah, bro. That's what I'm talking about. What platform? LinkedIn?
Of course.
All right. Sweet.
I don't have any other.
All right. Awesome. Oh, nope, not the calculator.
I don't know, man. You need to calculate out how many people you're helping. Oh, sorry. Let's do that.
There you go. Sweet. Awesome, brother. Well, William, it's nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, nice to meet you as well. I've been like kind of listening to your talk half and half.
Yeah.
People out
Yeah,
there.
of course.
I'm gonna watch all of it later. But
Yeah. No, it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was just interesting, but also it's hot in here, and
It's so hot. I'm dying.
I know like half the tricks you're telling.
Yeah.
Here,
Good.
So I don't need all of them.
Good.
I think I should have a job landed on Monday. So
Awesome, man.
9-month grind is over.
I love it.
But yeah, no, I mean, good thing. I definitely want to look over like how you talk about to like reach out to people.
Yeah.
I'm terrible about reaching
Everybody
out to people
is.
on
Yeah.
LinkedIn. In person or like talking face to face, I try to be very personal. I
Sure.
try to be very upfront to
Sure.
talk with people, enjoy that. But like on LinkedIn, I'll connect with you if I meet you.
Yeah.
Or if someone sends me a connection request.
Right.
I never wanted to connect with you before, but maybe you will now.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I was like,
You have your code?
nervous to ask.
No.
I broke it.
Oh,
Look at this. I broke the ice.
There you go, man.
Listen to my voice.
I know.
Let me do it as well. Let's all.
All right, y'all, let's go ahead and grab a seat. Last 40 minutes. Thank you, Shannon. Last 40 minutes. Grab a seat. This is the best part of my talk, believe it or not. All right. This is great. The fact that I got to get y'all to shut up and sit down is a great sign. All right, last 40 minutes. Last 40 minutes. So we go and grab a seat. Come with your questions. If you are leaving, I hate to say this, probably the most impactful part of the talk. So just to let you know. All right. So I want to talk about interviewing, and this is like a Q&A, right? So the reason why I saved this for last is I know we're going to be exhausted, and I usually, so I gave this is usually my main talk I give. It's all Q&A based, and it's just a very real and frank conversation when it comes to the job search. And so I really want everyone to be open here. There's no wrong answers. There's no dumb stories. I really think if you have dealt with it, somebody else has dealt with it. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and kind of talk about some high level stuff, but I'm here to answer any questions you have. So this is all Q&A. If you have any questions about anything I've said, if you have any questions about maybe you're in the job search right now, I'm here to answer them. I'm probably going to get Leon's help maybe too, to help answer some questions with me. But again, this time is for you to ask any questions. Nothing's off the table. We can talk about pay rates with recruiters. We can talk about, how we make, we, aka the recruiting industry, make money. I'm not really a recruiter anymore. So again, I want to talk about all that here in a second, but I do want to hit these bullet points real quick. First bullet point, small things are going to get you a job right now. Usually the people getting jobs right now aren't better than you. They're just doing the small things better than you. Prime example, right? One of my buddies who's a recruiter, he posted on LinkedIn. He was like, for the love of God, please put your contact information on your resume. Dude, I'm telling you, Jordan can attest that the shit that we see is nuts. They literally, there are people who do not put their phone or their email, and they submit their resume, and we don't know how to call them. And actually, usually they're actually good. For some reason, like usually people who like forget their stuff are actually pretty good. And so then we're like, huh? Yeah, see, I'm not crazy. Well, their attention to detail ain't that great. So anyway, so that's important, right? Do the small things. I would have a checklist, some interviewing tips for me, real fast. Have a pen and paper out. I think especially in the world of AI and all that stuff, if you are typing on your computer now during an interview, it is a bad look. It is a bad look right now. Pen and paper, have it out. Let the interviewer know, hey, listen, Mr. Mrs. Interviewer, I have a pen and paper right here. So I may pause and write stuff down. Is that okay? 10 out of 10 times, the people are going to be like, that's totally fine. But right now, because of where we're at, the Pragmatic Engineer just sent out an email newsletter. I have not been able to read it yet. But around AI and interviewing and how some founders are embracing it, how some founders are trying to get around it. I need to read it, have not read it yet, but pen and paper is huge. Also too, make sure if you screen share, you don't have any subjective content on your computer that's visible. That happened to me 2 months ago, or no, in my last job, so 6 months ago. So make sure your screen is clear of things when you screen share, okay? Another thing too, have your resume out in front of you. Incredibly important. I don't even remember things I've done. And I feel like I'm a pretty good like speaker and kind of bullshit and kind of get way through things. I still need my resume in front of me, right? And if anyone wants to see my resume, I will share it with you because I think it's really, really good. But that being said, I have it in front of me when I interviewed for Torque because I needed to give specific examples if my boss, Dave, asked me about community, right? And then also the next thing, I would have a sizzle sheet. I haven't quite made these professional terms yet, but like a sizzle sheet thingamajigger where it's like what are like the 5 things that you just really want to drive home in the interview when you interview, right? So for me, when I interview with Torque, I want to say I grew the Gun.io Discord to 1,000 members in 1 year. Personally, I drove in over 1,000 engineers to the Gun.io platform in a year. I also brought in 29 net new logos/companies to the company with a total of over 55 to 60 job orders in 1 year. So when and then I talked about email. I had a bunch of like content stuff about email marketing. Jason, I gave you huge flowers. You missed it. So all that being said, like have like this sizzle sheet. So if you're going in and interviewing for a senior team lead position that they're migrating their code base from one language to another, and you have all that experience, make sure that you have like the things written down that you really want to get across. Because one of the things I consistently hear is people get through an interview and they're like, damn it, I forgot to mention that. Anybody done that? I've done it. Yeah. Have that written down. All right. Flip the interview into a conversation. Yes.
One comment for that.
Yes.
If you forget something, just try to give the thank you note.
Yeah.
That's great. Love that. Everybody hear that? Write it in the thank you note. I think mail's a little slow these days, so I would say maybe like in the thank you email or or DM. Yeah, we're not sending letters to our grandma for Christmas, right? So love that. Flip the interview into a conversation. Vibe is everything. Listen. This hot take. People just want to work with people they like. Now, there are some issues around that conversation. There's issues around that point, and I understand that. I have been in those conversations. There's a lot of bias around that statement. But at the end of the day, for the most part, and again, I never want to speak in absolutes in hiring, people want to work with people they enjoy speaking with. Why do you have friends? Hold on, John, I'll get to you in a second. Why do you have, like, your friends are people you enjoy hanging out with, right? If you go into an interview, grumpy gills, don't expect to be called back, okay? I'm just going to say that. Leave that there. Jordan, go.
I was gonna say that that really goes both ways though. Like if you can have a
100%.
if people want to work with people they like, you use that to your advantage. Like
Yep.
how is this manager, how are you connecting with them?
Love
Is this someone not in a way like is this, you someone they want to work there, but are they someone you want to work for?
Love that. Yeah, listen, you're interviewing the manager just as much as they're interviewing you, right? So be aware of that. Yes.
No, you made me think because I worked
Hell yeah.
at Starbucks for a while.
Okay.
And you're absolutely right because
Thank you.
They had restructured. So I was living in Josephine, Ridgewood City, and I asked her once, I said, well, why did you hire me? We were just talking. And she told me it's because I liked you. And she said, I didn't care about anything we should do before. It was just, I like your personality, you were so nice. She would give a look about anything I did before. She just like, and I was like, oh, I guess that's good as bad.
Yeah. I don't know how you're also in here wearing that with how hot it is right now. Props to you. I am sweating so bad right now. I am dying. Do not hug me. I mean, you can, but just FYI. All right. What's the actual problem you're interviewing for, and how can you fucking solve it? I mean, I feel like some of us get an interview and you can come out, because again, as a recruiter, I would post mortem every interview, like, how did it go? All of this. I'm like, oh, are you interested in the role? Jordan can test this. A lot of people are like, I don't know what the role entails. Again, I'm not making this up.
Didn't even ask the basic question of what am I interviewing for?
This is why you're expected to get a job on Monday, right?
Yeah.
So again, like, figure out the problem. For example, prime example, Gun.io. Gun.io was looking for a salesperson when I interviewed. But I also asked them, do you do social media? Do you do content? They go, we've never had a content presence. I said, okay. I said, have you ever been to developer conferences? Done anything for the community? They go, we've never done that. I said, okay. So guess what I was able to answer? Sales, content, and community in my interview. And I was able to drive home all points because I figured out what their pain points are, right? If you could figure out specifically, and listen, it's fine to ask, hey, why are you hiring for this role? Did you fire somebody?
Are you making a new team?
There you go. All of it, right? It's okay to ask, hey, why are you hiring for this role? And figure that out and then create a narrative of how you can fix that, right? I don't want to say it's that simple, but just ask the question. That question just needs to be asked to begin with. Follow-up is everything. And then we'll get into questions here. So y'all come up with questions and we'll wrap it up the last 30 minutes with questions. Follow-up is everything. I would have not gotten the job at Gun or Torque if my follow-up game was not 11 out of 10. Gun.io, I interviewed with the founder. Founder told me, hey, I love you, but we really want to hire a VP of marketing first before you. I said, totally get it, totally understand. He was like, check back with me in a month. Okay. Well, when you have a job for 11 years, telling people how to interview and hire, you kind of know that what the deal is. I knew it wasn't going to be a month. I knew it was probably going to be a week. So I literally emailed him a week later. I set it on my calendar, set a reminder on my calendar to email Gun.io. And I was like, hey man, just checking in. I want to see how the interview went with the VP of marketing. He calls me immediately. Hey Taylor. I'm like, hey, what's up? And of course, like, I was grinning. Like I knew what the call was about. He was like, yeah, the VP of marketing candidate fell through. Would love to hire you. Said, I figured. He goes, what? I go, nothing. And so I did not say that. And so essentially, so I got the job because of that. Then with Torque, I saw that my time was coming to an end. Again, be aware, right? I think I've talked with a few of y'all over the last 24 hours, and the biggest question I get is, when do I start interviewing? When do I start looking for, if I'm happy, when do I start? You should be talking all the time, right? Like all the time. hey, you're posting a lot about you love what you do. Are you hiring? I mean, if you catch me on, if I have budget and I'm at a conference and I'm looking for somebody, I literally just hired somebody on my team from Mexico who was at the conference in Guadalajara we were at last month. Because I met her, she was present, she was engaged, and then I asked a few people in the Guadalajara conference region that we were at, I said, who should I hire? Everybody said her. I had a 15-minute conversation, I hired her. Right? Always be looking, always be asking, always be networking. I feel like as human beings, we're all like hot or cold. We're going to go 1,000 miles a minute or nothing. Now, if my wife is watching this, she would be giggling right now because that's exactly my personality, if you can't tell. So I get it. But at the end of the day, when it comes to the job search, it's a, hey, how you doing? Are you hiring here? Or, hey, I see you're loving your role. You got it. Like, are you guys doing anything? You guys growing at all? Right? Always be looking. Always be looking. But again, follow-up is absolutely everything. It is probably the most important part of the job. If I would have to distill down everything, is follow-up. I would follow up with every single person you meet at this conference. If you are not following up, you are losing out. I'm telling you, 60% of going to conferences is follow-up, in my opinion. In my opinion. The job search, I'd say probably 60% of the job search is follow-up. Because the thing is people are too busy. My wife's got to tell me 3 times before I do something. Now, that's another conversation I got to work on. But all that being said, we're all busy. Shut up, Patrick. We're all busy. So all that being said, follow up, please. All right. Questions around the job search. Ryan, go.
Where's the best place to actually play my passion? If I'm me, I don't know, I'm a career transitioner.
Sure.
I don't have a lot of space in my one-page resume to fit all this, hey, this paragraph of who I am, what I love about what I want to do. So where can I inject that before an interview?
All right, a few things I want to address. First off, I want to kick the guidance counselor in the shin that says your resume has just got to be a page. Knock that shit off. Now, you are more early in your career. If you are earlier in your career, but you have applicable experience and volunteer experience or internships or whatever, and you can fill up a page or more, put that shit on there. Like, this one-page resume thing has got to get at, like, no, okay? Let it breathe a little bit. Some of y'all are doing like 10-point font. I'm like, looking at the resume, like, the hell did you do? Like, let it breathe. It's okay. Say what? Yeah, hiring manager. Yeah. We all got glasses at this point. Like, yeah. I need 12-point font, double space. No. My question to you and my answer to you, and I'm interested, Leon, I'm interested in what you have. Jordan, I'm interested in what you have too, is that's where just putting yourself on the internet. I know you're an F1 fan. You just posted your Mercedes portfolio the other day. I watch you. Okay? Yeah. Right? That's where you do it. Leon, do you have any thoughts on that?
I think if you're relying on what your resume says, your LinkedIn says,
I don't need to be giving this talk. You need to be up here.
So can I add on to that real quick? I saw someone on Blue Sky. She posted a job that they were hiring for. I said, hey, I'm not a senior, I'm junior, but like, hey, I'll talk to you about this. She DM'd me great. DM'd her, talked to her, laid out what I'm passionate about. Here's my resume. She goes, great, love it. Apply for the job. Then heard that, okay, we are looking for someone with more experience. I didn't expect a senior job. She goes, I think you'd be great in this other position. Can I send your application for that? Yes, please. Nothing.
Should have asked for the name. That was your mistake. That sounds great. Who is it so I can follow up?
Oh, sorry.
For real. Also, this is why we do Q&A for that right there. Yes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, like, I've heard that like job hunting is like a numbers game where like you have to apply for more, but
No.
at the same time, what is like the balance?
Yeah, job application is not numbers anymore. That's done.
What?
Job application, the job search is not about numbers anymore. Not about numbers. Hold on. Get that out of your head. It's about intentionality. Messaging people on LinkedIn, kind of everything I talked about, messaging people on LinkedIn. talking to people at conferences, crafting your messages, right? That is what's going to move the needle, not applying to 5,000 fake LinkedIn jobs. Okay? Yes.
So it was about the numbers game at some point?
Yeah, it was. Back when it was good. I miss those days. That was the most money I've ever made in my career. 2021, 2022. Those were great days in the recruiting world. Oh, buddy. I had literally my biggest year ever. Because literally you could sneeze, and then be like, oh, I got a job. It was nuts. It's not that anymore. And I don't know if it's ever going to be that again, to be totally honest. Yeah, Jordan.
When you look at the numbers game from the sound perspective, do you have any idea how many people apply for a job because they think it's a numbers game and they're not? There are hundreds of applications. Okay, so you said, Guy, earlier, 600 applicants, right? 500 of those people are not going to get fit.
Correct.
They're increasing their odds. They think it's a numbers game. The more I apply, the more like I'm increasing my likelihood of someone reaching out to me. Not the case. If anything, the more people who subscribe to the numbers game, the less it becomes a numbers game.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in the back.
Yeah, so like, let's say you're at a conference and you match like 100 people.
It's a lot of people. Yeah, extrovert.
You only really remember like 20 of those interactions that had like meaningful.
Sure.
And meaningful.
Sure.
Are you better off concentrating on the quality
Mhm.
of reaching out to those, or like and sending maybe generic follow-ups to the rest?
Never generic. Never generic. Again, we got to get out of this mindset of generic mass activity.
You know what? It's okay.
Yeah. If I were you, I'd focus on the 20. Focus on the 20. Right. But again, if you are not pulling out your actually, and I need to message Brianna on our team. I wasn't a fan of business cards. Now I am. Because you meet so many people, but you need a QR code to get that person to your socials. I throw away a business card, but I'll scan it when I get back to the hotel tonight after this talk and cry in a corner. And I will connect with you from the QR code on the business card. I think business cards are back, but they're just different. And we're doing that with our team too. The UPS just got in late, so we weren't able to have them with this one. But anyways, that's beside the point. So yeah, focus on the 20. Yep.
How do you handle addressing large gaps in a career?
Great question. Large gaps to your career. Here's the deal. There's no way about it. Say what happened. If it's sensitive information, I don't know.
Would you bring it up ahead of time? So, for example, I did work for 5 years because I was primary parent.
That's
hey,
yeah.
I had small people, they were terrorists.
Yeah. As a fellow parent with tiny terrorists, yeah, 100%. Yeah. Because yeah. Like I'd be like, oh, this girl's hilarious. I want to talk to her more, right? That's what I'm saying. Address it, right? Address it, 100%. Yeah, Tessa, go ahead. Yeah, of course.
We were talking about the 20 connections versus 100 people, etc. I would encourage, especially since most of you are technically minded, a way to track all of your connections.
Yes.
I set up HubSpot when I first became a developer. I had like 15 years of contacts in my HubSpot. And it's anyone that I can go back and reach out to. It tracked my email the whole time. It tracked my calendar the whole time. And so I have all of this beautiful data that if I need to go reach out to someone, it's all in there. So I would strongly urge you to find your own sort of like CRM, networking tool, whatever, to just track those key things.
Here's the deal. I can't stress to you enough how important connections are. I literally cannot stress enough. Like every time I find myself on TikTok during the workday, I immediately get myself off my phone and be like, who else can I talk to in the DM? I get on the toilet and I'm DMing people on the toilet. Look, hey, listen, I've had this conversation with people before. They're like, well, how do I don't have time. You poop. DM people when you're pooping. Just call it what it is. Right? And also another thing too, Jamin, everybody know Jamin Holmgren on Twitter, Infinite Red CTO. Yeah. He tweeted the other day. He was like, he goes, I really want to use LinkedIn more. How do I use it? And I tweeted at him. I said, delete every single other social media app off your phone but LinkedIn. I did a fast for church a few weeks ago, and the thing I did was I got off social media for a week, which, if you know me, was very difficult. And I can't tell you, I was like detoxing, and my behavior, like I got so aware of like flipping open my phone and like where my thumb would go. Like it's wild, right? So my thing is, if you want to use LinkedIn more, delete every other social media app off your phone, because what you're going to do is you're automatically going to go to that. To get behavior for me for Blue Sky, I deleted Twitter off my phone because more devs were using Twitter, and my job is to be where the people are, and like that whole thing, right? So again, that's what I would do. I can't stress to you enough. If you are not taking advantage of every single conversation to follow up on LinkedIn DMs, you are losing every single day. Every single day. Any other questions? We got 15 minutes. Yes.
What's an easy trap, like a person that's going to like, or that kind of stupid, what's easy trap they can fall into that's not immediately obvious?
A trap from an interviewer perspective, like you're interviewing.
Well, if you're being interviewed,
okay.
What's an easy way to mess up the interview that isn't immediately obvious?
I don't know. Is there any hiring managers in here or recruiters in here that thoughts, Tessa?
I would say probably. You mean like in terms of like traps, like that you might fall into, or you're saying they're trying to trap you?
You could think of it as like a hidden red flag.
Oh.
Not interviewing the company you're interviewing for?
Like if a hiring manager is interviewing you, you want to know what are potential red flags about you potentially as a candidate, right?
Sorry, what I mean is, say you're being interviewed.
Yeah.
And you say or do something, or the way you're being interviewed, like how we respond. So like makes the interviewer not listen to you as much.
Oh yeah.
But this, yeah.
Okay.
Jason next.
One time I watched someone with their significant other in the background playing video games. And I was like, if you don't care enough about the interview to go find yourself like a safe space that is not distracted for me, then I think that was one red flag. Super messy. This is all going to sound a little materialistic, but it all comes like super messy backgrounds. Like if I see trash or things that shouldn't be there, if it feels like you're not showing up for the job that you want, I'm not saying you got to dress up. You don't have to wear a suit and tie, but you shouldn't come in with like a shirt that looks dirty. You know, your hair should be like presentable. I would say also if you make side comments or prove to me the lack of details. When we talked about them missing your contact information on the resume, I would never even call that person because I would be like, are you freaking kidding me? I have to chase down your application? No flipping way. I don't have time for this. And so it would instantly go in the trash, even if I was very, very excited about that person. Generally, I am also, and I'm going to say this, but like I'm like a little old, so I'm going to say this, and like y'all can still be young and hip and do what you want, but the trash talking on your socials, that's a big, big red flag, And I realize that we are a extended generation that is changing, and we've got voices, but there are still professional people trying to hire you, and I'm not saying that your opinions aren't valid. Choose the network or the place at which you should do that. And any path for hiring managers is not where you do that. So do that on Facebook if you're on that.
Snapchat. Do it on Snapchat.
You know, Snapchat, great company. Go to Snapchat.
Oh yeah, I forgot. For the record, she worked Snapchat. Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, so I want to build on that last part, which is, this is actually right to your question. One of the trap questions you'll get is, why are you leaving your current position? And you have to be really careful because you could be tempted to think they're not these people, so I can just tee off on how.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
But all that's saying to the person interviewing is like, what are you going to be doing as soon as you join here? Like, that nothing was ever your fault, that everybody's a problem. So
Yeah.
If you get the chance to tee off on your old job, even if you hated it,
Don't.
take it.
Yep. Oh, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, don't lie.
Yeah.
People will,
Yeah, don't lie.
it's obvious when you start to exaggerate, talk about things you did,
Yep.
you didn't actually do.
Yep.
People will find out right away.
100%. Mark.
I would love for someone to talk about, because we just told everyone, don't tee off from your old job, right?
Yeah.
And they ask you, why are you leaving? What should they say instead?
Ooh.
Be
I like that.
respectable.
Yeah.
That's what you say. Anything respectable.
I would say speak openly and candidly in a like respectful way. You can say things that are true that are not like foul. Like
Yeah.
my boss was a dick. And
It's not, yeah, I would not say that.
You just say the workplace environment wasn't working out, something like that.
Hold on. Get too many side conversations. Hold on. Say it again, Jordan.
No, I was just saying, like, everyone jokes about corporate jargon, but like find that
Yeah.
more professional way to say exactly what you feel without like wood inside the wall.
Yeah, prime example, Gun.io. I left Gun.io because they did not put the importance of community that I wanted, that I personally wanted. It's the truth. It's the truth. Yes, go ahead.
So when we first got to the recruiter round, the recruiter most likely gonna ask like, are you actively looking? What is the best answer to that without sounding like desperate?
Yeah. Yeah, great question. So she asked basically, how do you not sound desperate to a recruiter? Sound desperate. We want to know you're looking. We want to know that you want a job. This whole like dating in middle school where it's like this game where it's like, I'm into you, but I'm not into you. I kind of like you, but I kind of don't like you. Like, no. If a recruiter says, are you looking? Like, yes, I'm actively looking. I'm very interested in this opportunity. Yep. Okay, great. Then say, I'm not actively looking, but this opportunity sounds great and I'd like to pursue.
That's not a bad
No. No, never.
As a hiring manager, I love to hear that.
Yeah.
If you're not actively looking, but you're interested in the position, I'm like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need a job, you're not getting terminated from a job, you're not a problem, but you are eager to solve new challenges.
And then when they ask like, oh, why are you interested in the company? And then can I be honest, like, oh, I never heard of this company before. but then I got introduced to this opportunity and I researched more.
Yeah, I would know about the company before you hop on a call.
No, I mean, yeah, of course.
Sure.
I researched before I hop on the call, but like, can I be honest, like, oh, I never heard of this company before, like somebody like tell me about it.
Yeah, maybe not say like I've never heard of the company, but I'd maybe be like, hey, like this is a new opportunity that kind of came out of left field for me. But it definitely sounds like it's right up my alley or something like that. Yeah, 100%. What else? We got 8 minutes. I knew this would be the best part of the talk. Yeah, go ahead.
So I noticed something I do during like the recruiter screening interviews. I don't look directly into the camera, right? I try to, I don't know, when I'm like looking off the camera, I speak like more
Better.
Like better.
Yeah.
When I'm looking to the camera, I tend to be, like
Shy.
Yeah.
Nervous.
Yeah, shy or like not come off as like confident.
100%.
Is that a red flag? How do I go about, dealing with that? Do I just need to practice more?
I mean, you need to practice more. I think. Go ahead, Mark.
Don't plug your ears, hey. There's software now that can redirect your eye contact.
Yeah. Talk to Mark. But I think in today's virtual world, you gotta be good at looking at a camera, not even at the camera. Like, all right, listen, I'm gonna admit something here, and I know all of us do it because it's a meme. I look at myself in the camera all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, my mouth's landed funny, right? So like what I like one of the things I do to help out. So I just was on a podcast with Shruti Kapoor, and love her to death. And what I did to like try to stay focused, this sounds awful, is I shrunk the screen and moved it as close to the camera as possible. So I was just looking at myself. I told you I'm gonna be real here. So, but get comfortable. And then if you want to use AI software to fake your eyes, talk to Mark. All right. Yeah.
I can actually speak to this. I had a client one time
only way that she could talk to the camera without like messing up or whatever is I had to get a teleprompter and redirect the video feed from the camera so that she could look directly at herself, but into the lens to record her videos.
Yeah.
And it was like magic.
Yeah.
So do what Taylor did.
Yeah. So
It
basically make it to where you can only see yourself in the camera. Yeah. Yeah. They don't know. Yes.
Quick question. I think back in my days, I spent a lot of time on social media because Nick is a lot of people, so I know a lot of Fergie friends and stuff.
Sure.
But it took a lot of time, so it felt like its own job. So what is a proper amount of time we should be spending? Because you can spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, people.
Yeah.
And you still have to work.
Yeah.
So what is a healthy amount of, because it just wore me out.
Does anybody hear that question? Basically, how to balance networking and social media? Listen, this is a very individualized question, right? Like that's my job, right? Like I am on it all the time. Like literally Patrick called me out today. He goes, can you please put your phone down? Because I'm trying to put you in a shot and you look distracted, right? I'm always on my phone, right? So it is going to be an individual conversation that you need to have with yourself, your plus one, in terms of what this looks like. And I think it goes through seasons. If you're actively on a job search, I would talk with your plus one and be like, hey, I'm going to be double down on my phone right now with LinkedIn, with Twitter to really kind of like network. But I will tell you this, I think if you want to give yourself a balance, either have it to where you are on your phone at a certain time of day and like delete the apps because I'm pretty sure with Apple you can like have like different screens or stuff with like different apps on it. You could do that. But I think it's going to be an individual battle that you're going to have to solve. But in my opinion, if you struggle with social media apps already, like I do, delete them and just have the essentials, which is Blue Sky and LinkedIn. Okay. Again, I can't give you a silver bullet answer here, but that's what I would do.
I also.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna because I struggle with time blocking.
Yes.
So like space blocking works for me. So it's like.
Explain that.
So like in the same way, like if you're working from home, if you work in your bedroom, you're always stressed about and anxious about work when you're sleeping because you work from your bed.
Okay.
Like
Interesting.
Like that intermixing of space and like what that means contextually. What helped for me is if I'm on my phone, I'm doing like digital or work stuff, like that's a zone. And then all my social activities are in like public spaces. So like I'm running, I'm outside, I'm doing something. And that keeps me from brain rotting to the maximum on all these apps all the time.
Okay. I like that. That's interesting. I've never heard that. That's interesting. Ooh, I like that. You got one in like the left pasture and one in the right pasture.
I'm writing content for myself, I'll go sit on my patio where I can see my farm and see all my animals because I'm just like, I'm in my zen place.
Feel that.
My passion can flow.
Yeah, feel that. I love that. I love that. What else? What was it? Yes.
So
you look great, by the way. Great jacket. You came dressed for success. I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. So I love my current job.
Okay.
But I still want to put my face out there.
Sure.
And also at the same time, I'm a junior.
Okay.
Like 6 months of experience.
Love it. I wouldn't say as junior. I'd say as entry.
How do you put yourself out there without it looking suspicious from both the context of your current employer
Sure.
and your like prospective employer?
Man, that's where content comes in, dude. Like documenting what you're doing, what you're learning, even at work. Like I got a job at Torque because of what I documented at Gun.io.
Are you documenting more so just like side projects? Or are you documenting?
Oh, I'm documenting what I'm doing at work. My post a day or two ago was what our team's doing. Yeah.
Whatever big problem you get into and you're like, yeah, we got passion, because you're not only going to be passionate about it, but it's going to be fresh in your mind. And then you're going to have this new approach or new vision, right? And it might not be you, maybe other devs have done it, but at least if you're speaking to, I solve this challenge, then someone can later be like, oh, that guy's a problem solver. He gets it.
Yeah.
As long as you didn't sign an NDA.
Well, don't tell everything.
Yeah. I'm not saying like my boss yelled at me today, but yeah.
Don't make it hackable.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, we got 2 minutes. Yes.
But even under CA, since they're like, oh, I haven't looked into like graph traversal stuff today.
You can say stuff like that, just not like go into specific.
Yeah.
And like what I do is like I post pictures of like my desk setup and like a little blurb of like what I'm looking at or like the documentation I'm looking at. And then streaming has been really big for me. Like you can work on side projects, you can just talk about what you're doing. You can even just talk about like post pictures of your dogs or something. Because it's like also wanting to like build a personal connection with people.
Cows.
Kids, pets, food.
Yeah, hold on.
Pets, food.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
So I really wanted to ask this question because I got laid off in August.
Okay.
And my question is, whenever I network with people, they always ask me, what do I do? So I'm kind of want to have like an advice from everyone, like what advice, like what should I say? Because I'm kind of tired of saying I got laid off.
Sure.
And it's like, it's the same story that, and I'm like, I'm tired. And some people kind of disregard you.
Sure.
You tell them like, hey, you got laid off, you know? So some people like push you to the side, like you don't contribute.
Yeah.
Bring value.
Yeah, I mean, I would just real quick, I would say specifically like, I'm currently looking for work and here's what I want to do. Right? Because the thing is people need to know what you want to do right now. I'm sorry. So I would just say, yeah, I'm currently looking for work, but here's what I'd love to do, or here's what I want to do. Does anybody else have thoughts around that? Yes, Tessa.
I wouldn't even say anything about looking for work or anything in the beginning. I'd be like, I do X. And whatever it was you used to do, whatever it was you want to do, whatever it is that is your passion, whatever defines you. Like you need your personal elevator pitch. What's this 30-second, here's who I am, here's what I'm good at, here's what I'm capable of.
All right.
And then as that conversation goes on, then you can come.
It's 4:30 and I want to be respectful. Guys, I love y'all. This was great. Let's talk. I will be outside. If anybody has any more questions, I will answer them.